not funny that all of this is coming at the same time we're looking at two energy sectors shutting down at once?
So you now
and we're not
ask yourself,
talking about
what
economic
is wrong?
sabotage?
We're not asking ourselves, what is wrong?
Let's get Mr. Jembe in to respond to your response about what he said. Mr. Jembe, he says, you have to see the bigger picture here, because tomorrow it could be your turn and you will need help, maybe like NUPENG is doing now.
Yes, I completely agree that we need to see the bigger picture. And it is that bigger picture that we are seeing that obliges us to talk to NUPENG the way we are talking. Because NUPENG is beginning to see only the 15,000 members' salaries and thinks that the subsidy payment to their bosses is all that Nigerians are concerned about. And that even if they bring down the house, as it were, let Nigeria go to blazes. They will not mind if the subsidies are paid to their bosses. These claims that are shrouded in some mysteries that Nigerians are yet talking about, that its foundation is not exactly without some fraud. We are saying that the issue of the refineries is raising are not new issues. Why has NUPENG all this while sat quiet, did not bother about the issues to elevate it to the level of a national strike? Why is it that they are situating it within the context? Of course, you know that when you go to the bargaining table, you go with your basket and you build all sorts of things, but the real thing is that you know what you can trade and what you cannot trade. And in this matter, Nigerians are not fooled. Nigerians know that what they are bringing in about the existential realities of today are issues that are meant to buy the support of Nigerians. And we do not think that we should support those people, that the government itself has agreed, and NUPENG is aware. When Mr. Igwe, my comrade, says that he's not aware that they are friends, I think that is not correct. This is not dialectically correct, because he knows that these are people of the same class, people of they are all capitalists, they are all bourgeois. They all belong to the bourgeois class, and he knows, like I know, that their disagreements are never fundamental. They are always resolved in the boardroom. So allowing workers, people who earn their livings by their sweat, to then become a tool, pawns. When Mr. Igwe, their national president, is now saying that he's not aware that they are friends, I think that it's not exactly being frank with Nigerians. And he needs to be more sincere about these issues, because he knows the dialectics, he knows the issues involved, he knows that they can sort themselves out, and they don't care whether the majority of Nigeria. Why should you sacrifice 167 million Nigerians for 15,000 people? I'm not saying that their quarrels are not justified. I mean, NUPENG has other issues. He knows, like we all know in this nation, that this government has not exactly discharged its responsibilities the way they ought to have been. And that is why a lot of people are complaining. We're all complaining that certain things that ought to have been put in place have not been put in place. But that is no justification for destroying the nation to satisfy 15,000 people.
Mr. Jembe, let us get something a little clear here. What does NUPENG exist for in the very first instance? They are a union in the very first instance, and they exist to protect.
Whether they are willing to destroy the nation because of 15,000 people. I think this is not correct.
Go ahead.
Mr. Jembe, I think we should first of all get clear what NUPENG stands for. I mean, they exist to protect the interests of their members in the very first instance, and shouldn't that be paramount to them, in the first place?
This is not a trade dispute. They know if there is a trade dispute, they know the procedure to follow under the Trade Disputes Act. This is not a trade dispute. And in FG, in Federal Government of Nigeria and Oshomole, it was clearly stated that trade unions can embark on issues outside of even mere, working relations. That is under that condition, their right to freedom of assembly, to freedom of expression. That is what they are expressing as a union, not a trade dispute. And he knows, like we know that this issue that they are talking about is not a trade dispute. And like the issue Chamberlain actually, raised earlier on, if you enter into a new MOU, and he knows that a new MOU will override what subsequent MOUs they had entered into. It's a new agreement, and that new agreement must be given some time to mature. For people to implement on the basis of that agreement. It's a completely new agreement, and he knows as a trade unionist that once you have entered into an agreement, once a new agreement comes into force, it overrides whatever has happened before. It's a completely new agreement. So why will they immediately enter into an MOU and then not allowing the government to implement? I'm not saying that this government has, it's a saint. No, this government has a lot of issues. But we cannot ground the nation simply because we want subsidy claims that are shrouded in fraud, that people are yet talking about investigations, are yet going on. The EFCC is still even investigating these people. They are asking that they should be paid these claims. The EFCC is still investigating them, and I'm sure that by the time they conclude all the investigations, that a lot of people, that is why my suspicion is that they are doing all of this because they want to turn the hand of the government, blackmail government into paying the subsidy claims before the investigations are completed. And Nigerians will not stand by and allow this to continue. This is unfair, this is unjustified, and for NUPENG with his pedigree, deeply rooted pedigree, you know, in the fight, in the struggle for democracy, I call upon NUPENG to go again and reassess the strategy. Yes, they are feeling the pound salaries have not been paid, I understand, for some places, maybe up to 5 months. This is sad. But NUPENG as an organization, as a union, must sit down and re-strategize and ensure that what they do is in the interest of the larger majority of Nigerians.
All right, let me bring you in.
Yeah, I'm happy. I'm happy that he mentioned that the issue of subsidy is threaded in frauds. But the truth remains, the truth remains, we've asked a simple question, that up to this moment, the Ministry of Finance or the Minister of Finance herself have not been able to answer. Who are the people you paid in excess of 200 and something billion Nigerian money? Who are the people?
Have you seen the report of Agimokede's?
Of course we have. But again, if you look at the report as a union, because we raise the issues of this issue of fraudulent activities in the PPPRA sector, in terms of subsidy claim and so on. The truth remains, if we looked at Imokede himself, as a union, we still feel sad, because he is also a stakeholder. He's an MD of a bank.
In other words, the report.
We've seen the report. We've seen the report.
Okay.
But what I'm trying to refer to here is, for him to be the chairman of even that board, is questionable.
But should I raise that earlier?
But we don't want to go into that here.
When the board was being constituted, I think Nigerians were given the opportunity to object or not, but we waited for the report to be turned in, and when it was, no one even complained until the trial started. So that is what Mr. Ejembe is saying, and that is what most Nigerians are saying, even though they would want to call it looking at it from one point. But in the mix of all of this, how logical can it be that just 15,000 workers are trying to make the entire nation suffer for something that the nation asked for? Even your union also asked for this, the same probe.
We asked for this probe. Is a follow-up as well. The action you say is part of the follow-up to the probe we're talking about, because you begin to ask yourself, who are these individuals that Ministry of Finance also claim they have paid? Are they part of those accused in the House of Rep reports that the Ministry of Finance has also paid?
Wouldn't it be nice? Sorry, wouldn't it be
nice? Are they part of those lists?
Those that are employers of some of your members that are not getting paid this same payments?
No.
By then we will know.
That is why
Mr. A has not been paid.
Fine. That is why we have
about 5,000 workers with Mr. A. Then we can now cross-check and say, okay, Mr. A is not on trial, or Mr. A is on trial.
Beautiful. That is why we simply ask this question again. There are individuals who employ these workers, but we realize that there are also portfolio briefcase carriers who goes to PPPRA, get letters of allocation, get product. They don't have any, any responsibility in terms of they don't have staffs, they don't have a depot, and then you pay them their subsidy.
Mr. Achese, can we say,
that's what we need to know.
Can we say in fairness that we haven't moved away from that era where briefcase people were the ones getting paid? Can we say, in all fairness, we've come a long way.
Of course, in all fairness, for now, from the position or the comment of the Minister of Finance for State, we have not moved away from that position. The truth is, you're paid in excess of 200 and something billion, and you said you never knew that it was still part of 2011. And because what you claim as a budget, a standing budget to pay subsidy is 200 billion.